Hi guys, welcome to lesson 11. Thanks for sticking with me for this long. Now, what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn the musical alphabet, and we're going to learn to use it in a practical sense. That is, we're going to use it for today's example, we're going to learn how to use a bar chord and move it around the guitar and know what it's called every time I move it. So I have played the bar chord on the 2nd fret. What would it be called? We'll learn how to do that. To do that, we need to learn the musical alphabet, and we need to place it on the guitar and have a visual sense of what everything is. So to do that, we're going to walk through the musical alphabet, which is simply A to G, but I'll explain more in depth. Now, sharps and flats. You might have heard someone say the word sharp or flat. Oh, you're sounding a bit flat. Oh, that sounds a little bit sharp. You might have heard those words used before. Now, if you don't know what they mean, I'll give you a little explanation that will help you understand what exactly that means. Now, to sharpen a note means you move it up. Just that half a step up. Not quite the next note, but just halfway up. And to flatten a note, you move it down a step in pitch, in sound. Okay, so if it was la, it would be now la. Just went down that fraction of a half step. Not a full step, a half step. You'll know what full and half steps are in a second when I get the guitar and show you in the next part of the video. So a sharp, which looks like a hashtag, if it's to be written, is in between these notes, but it's one half step up. Every so often you'll see a note with a half step up. D sharp, F sharp, G sharp. It's just that half step up. Now flat looks like a lowercase b with a little difference in the drawing. Okay, is a flat. So these notes here are a shared note. They have a shared name. It's either a half step down from the G or a half step up from the F. So it's either an F sharp or a G flat. It has two names. When I speak to you, I will mainly refer to the sharps. I won't say F sharp, G flat. I'll mainly say the sharps. Okay, so that's what these incidentals in between are. They're the half steps, the little steps in between them. Okay, each one of these is a half step, but every so often one of the half steps will be a little division in between the two notes. So hopefully that clears things up for you. Now I'll grab the guitar and we'll translate that information onto the guitar. Now that I have the guitar, let's get moving. What we're going to learn to translate that musical alphabet onto the guitar so that you can use it in a practical way. So what we're going to use it for is the major bar chord that we learned from lesson 6. If you've forgotten it, go back and learn it again. I'll give you a quick run through it in a second. But we're going to learn how to use it so that we can use this musical alphabet to tell us what the chord would be. Now, the chord that we learnt was F. We learnt the shorthand F, then we learnt this version of F. Now this is a movable major bar chord, okay? Remember that, movable major bar chord. Now every bar chord has a root note. Now what the root note is, it's the note that tells you the name of the chord. Now in this chord, the root note is that top string that I'm touching now, 6th string, 1st fret, that one there, okay? That's the root note. Why is it the root note? Because we borrowed this chord of E, and the root note for the E chord was the top string. And then we just shifted everything up, pressed that, and we've now changed the chord by shifting everything up one half step. One half step. Now these are half steps. Every little movement on this chord, on this musical alphabet is a half step. From E to E, that E to F is a half step. So that means the next fret is another half step. Every fret is a half step. 2 frets is a whole step. But today we're only thinking about half steps. So everything is a half step. Half step. So that's F sharp right there. So the next chord must be whatever's immediately after F sharp, which is G, and so forth. G sharp, A sharp, B, C. You'll notice B and C don't have a sharp or flat in between. E and F also don't have a sharp and flat in between. These are the two key things you must remember, so that when you don't have this written down with you and you need to recall it straight away, it's the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A sharp. B, straight to C, because there's no sharp or flat between B and C. Then we have C sharp, D, D sharp, E and F don't have a gap. Straight. F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B and C, again, don't have a sharp or flat. So lock that into your mind. E and F, no gap. B and C, no gap. There's no sharp or flat in between them. It's just one half step straight from E to F. If you can remember those things, you won't need to have this written down and looking at it when you're doing this. So E and F, B and C, they're the two things you've got to lock into your mind. Now, the top string starts on E, then we just follow our alphabet. Half step is F, because there's no gap between E and F. Then there's F sharp, G, G sharp, start the alphabet again. A sharp, B, no gap between B and C, so C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. E is where we started, and E is where we finished. That was our whole range of notes from E to E, 12 notes, and it starts again from there. F, F sharp, G, and so forth, okay? That's all you need to remember. So why is that important? Well, if you're playing a bar chord, that would be F, as we learnt. We took the E, we moved it up, because that is our naming note. F sharp, naming note G. Check it. Sounds almost identical to the G, and it is the same. The notes are the same, just a little bit differently placed, okay? It's not important, but you can use both as a G. Open G has a little different sound to it, but anyway, you get the point. So that's the use of these, knowing these notes on the string. Now, that pattern that's all musical instruments follow that. That's music. That's the 12 notes of music, okay? I went a little bit further. It technically finishes A and finishes on G sharp, A flat. I just continued on to show that the pattern just continues on and on. So you can do that pattern with every string if you like. It's a good little practice idea. So start from the 5th string, which is A. So we know the names of the open strings, that's the start, A. What's a half step up from A? A sharp. B, straight to C. C sharp, D. D sharp, E, straight to F. So follow the pattern. By all means, write this down, have a good look at it. Hopefully what I've said is locked into your mind. And you can see how it's useful. By knowing the names of those notes, you now know the names of your bar chord. By learning one bar chord, you've learned 12. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, A. Okay? Might not seem important now. You think, oh, well, I don't know any songs, all those chords. But believe me, it's going to become handy. And one more quick thing, how to change a major into a minor chord. Now, if that's a major chord, and we took it from the E major chord, how do you make an E major into an E minor? You take off a finger. You do the same thing with the bar chord. Take off a finger, and we now have a minor. Major, minor. So this chord used to be called F, would now be called F minor. Okay? F minor, F major. F sharp minor, F sharp major. G minor, G major. Okay, hopefully I'm not going too fast for you. Again, these lessons aren't tailored for anyone specific, so I'm trying to cover everybody. If you're an absolute beginner, I hope I've broken it down enough for you and you've got something to practice with. So go and learn a song that get a song that you already know and replace one or two of the chords with a bar chord. Just for a challenge. Like the song we learnt Down Under went. You could replace the G with a G bar chord, because that's a G. Do you come from the land down under? Right? Okay, it's going to take you a while to get that. And it's, you know, it's something different. It's just to practice the bar chord. Learn to change to it. From D to that, from E to that, E minor, whatever. Do all sorts of different ideas. But you get the idea. Learn your bar chords and go through the notes. Just start off with E and challenge yourself. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Do it as many times as you can until it becomes second nature. Okay? I'll leave you with that. Hopefully I broke it down simply enough and you've gotten a lot from this lesson, and I will see you at the next one.